Hey, how you doing? Are you good? Are you fantastic? Are you fantabulous? How are you doing? So critical thinking. The pandemic for me really highlighted the importance of it. I mean, we saw an abundance of information from the news, social media posts, with people sharing all sorts of information. I fell a victim of this too, where I got to a point where I wasn't really evaluating the information that was coming my way. I was just accepting it and going with it. I saw this as well from a lot of people around me, where people weren't really sitting down to say, is this actually true? Has this information I've been given been presented to me? Has it been presented to me in the most accurate way? I really noticed this when I would hear the news, or maybe I'd read something in a news article, I'd read something on social media and they'll quote a specific study. I would go back to the original paper, and at times it was a little bit misrepresented or not accurately captured, and people are making life choices based on information not being presented in the best way. I mean, it's so important, especially in this day and age where we're being flooded with so much information. It's no longer the traditional news outlets, newspapers, movies, adverts alone that are providing us with information. We have social media platforms where anyone can say anything unverified and people will just take it wholeheartedly. But it's so important that we can come out of our own echo chambers, out of our own feelings, and really be able to evaluate information accurately and make the right life choices based on engaging in the process of critical thinking. Although feelings are very important in igniting our search to evaluate information and weigh up whether what we're being presented is true, one issue that I've seen, especially on social media, is that at times we want people to accept what we say because it feels right. But just because something feels right doesn't make it right. Just because something makes us feel good doesn't make it good, doesn't make that information correct, doesn't make that information accurate. Our feelings can be indicators that we need to do a little bit more research on a potential ideology or opinion that we have, but they can't become the sole validation for the information that we present. Again, critical thinking is not just accepting the loudest voice, the person with the biggest following. I think as humans, there is that temptation to follow someone because so many people follow them blindly without actually weighing up whether what they're saying is true, whether what they're saying is balanced. Again, with social media, it's so easy to fall into this, but just because they have the loudest voice, or just because they're throwing the biggest tantrum, or they're saying I feel this way therefore ABCD is right, doesn't actually make it right. It's so important to not allow feelings to override our ability to actually evaluate information. I know, especially in this day and age, when you start to touch on people's feelings, they want to label you with some kind of phobia. They want to say you're this, you're that. And of course, we're human beings. We don't like our feelings being hurt. We don't like to feel wrong. We don't like to feel as though we haven't necessarily gotten the whole picture. But it's important to be able to put our feelings in the right context in order for us to be able to evaluate information in the right way and get a more holistic view about an argument, an opinion, a thought, a discussion, whatever it is. So what is critical thinking? In the simplest way I can define it, and I'm going to link some videos below which will give much better explanations about how to actually critically think. It's about weighing up different pieces of information, evidence, facts, opinions to form a conclusion. Though the word critical is used, it's not necessarily negative in and of itself. It's more so evaluative thinking. So you're presented with a piece of information, or maybe a theory, or maybe a piece of evidence, and it's deconstructing whatever that thing is, looking at the little parts that make up its whole, and then bringing in other pieces of information to see how it fits into a bigger picture in order to form a balanced perspective and a balanced conclusion. In one of the videos that I will link below, they put it this way: it's knowing what you believe and why you believe it. Critical thinking is not always a quick process of rejecting or accepting a piece of information or saying yes or no to an answer. At certain points, we have to take out time to slowly understand whatever is presented before us. It's giving ourselves the space to really ponder on the information that we receive and really get into the nitty-gritty of that piece of information, really weighing up its origins, the intent of that information, what specific forms of evidence are trying to verify. It's looking at different theories, opinions, thoughts, and really sitting with it and coming to an understanding of it. And that could include answering a question with yes or no. That could include rejecting or accepting certain ideologies. I think it's also understanding that engaging in evaluative thinking or critical thinking, it's not about knowing everything and having perfect understanding about everything. When we engage in the process of critical thinking and evaluating the information in front of us, it's also being comfortable with the idea that we may not always get the answer to what we're looking for. And that's okay. I think that's part of critical thinking. It's not necessarily about always finding the answer to absolutely every single thing presented in front of us, but it's about being well informed about the information that is being presented. And just because an evidence presented in front of us doesn't answer every single question that we have, doesn't make it any less valuable. We're human beings, we can't and we don't know it all. Only God does. As Christians, I think it's really important that we can accurately evaluate evidence and information. Our faith is not just based on feelings. Feelings are a part of it. And feeling right about something is a part of it, and sometimes feeling wrong about different things come into our faith. But the reason why we have our faith is because of the evidence that we've been presented and because of what we know to be true, and actually coming to an informed decision. Our faith isn't blind. Our faith is informed, and it's based on facts, on evidence, opinions. When we come even to the Bible in and of itself, we're encouraged to understand why we believe what we believe. 1 Peter 3:15, the Amplified Version says this: "But in your hearts set Christ apart as holy, acknowledging him, giving him first place in your lives as Lord. Always be ready to give a logical defense to anyone who asks you to account for the hope and confident assurance elicited by faith that is within you. Yet do it with gentleness and respect." Give a logical argument. Our faith isn't airy-fairy based on some thing in the sky. No, it's based on real facts, real evidence. Even when you look at the Bible in and of itself, it's not one man writing about another man. It's several people's experiences across thousands of years pointing to one man, being a witness to one man. It's several different people giving an account of God, giving an account of encountering Christ and evidence in that. When you look at the Bible, it's a collection of several different books, of several different accounts of the human experience, the good, the bad, the ugly. It doesn't hide from anything, but gives us a raw account of our humanity, but points to the one person, Christ, who has come to save us from the flaws of our humanity. When you look at scripture, it gives account after account after account pointing to Christ. And as Christians, it's only to our advantage to be well informed about these different accounts. Even when you look at the New Testament and when you look at Christ and when you look at the apostles, they engage in dialogue. They engage in logical reasoning, in critical thinking. They lay out the reason for their faith. It's not airy-fairy. It's not by accident. They didn't just stumble upon what they believe. It's very well thought out. They encourage discussion and they engage in discussion, and this is accounted for in scripture, and as Christians we're encouraged to do so as well. There are these people in the scripture called Berean Jews, and when Paul approached them with the gospel, with the evidence of Christ, they sought scriptures. They went back to the scriptures, they went back to the Old Testament to see, is what Paul's saying true? Does it weigh up with the different forms of evidence that we have? And as Christians we're encouraged to do that, especially in this culture where, as I said before, we're flooded with so much information. We are called to critically evaluate and really weigh up whether what is being presented to us is providing us with the full picture. As well, we're meant to be equipped to also, in the best way we can, really present people with the most accurate information that we can provide. Whether culture is talking about things that affect our faith or not, it's our responsibility as individuals to really weigh up the information presented before us and not just accept it and keep it moving. So I encourage you to know what you believe and why you believe it. I encourage you to engage with critical thinking, It's something that's amazing. It's something that has helped me. I come from a very sciencey background. Right from GCSEs to A-levels to university, I've been encouraged to engage in critical thinking. It's almost become second nature to me. I currently work in research, so I have to engage in critical thinking. And it's helped me to just receive information in the best way possible that I can and be a bit more balanced in the way I engage information. I encourage you to do so as well. Again, like I said, I will link some videos down below. I'll link some people down below who are just really intelligent, really amazing, and who really approach social political issues from not just a place of feelings, but from a place of intellect as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share with anyone you feel it may help. Please don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment down below on how you engage in critical thinking, resources that have helped you to be more informed when you approach certain forms of information. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.